The galaxy was vast, filled with countless star systems and civilizations. For centuries, different species had risen and fallen, but none had been as persistent or as underestimated as humanity. The Galactic War had raged for years, with the alien coalition, a group of advanced species, battling against the stubborn human forces. Despite their technological superiority, the aliens couldn't crush the human spirit. They saw humanity as weak, a nuisance rather than a real threat. But humanity had a secret weapon, their unpredictable nature. While the aliens relied on logic and strategy, humans were known for their creativity, especially when pushed into a corner. The war had reached a critical point. Human forces were spread thin, and resources were dwindling. The alien coalition was closing in on Earth, confident that victory was near. It was during this desperate time that human scientists made an extraordinary discovery, a rogue planet drifting through the void of space. The planet was massive, with a trajectory that seemed to aim it directly at a distant, uninhabited star system. Initially, it seemed like just another celestial object, but then someone had a wild idea. What if they could redirect the planet and use it as a weapon? The idea was insane, even by human standards. Redirecting a planet wasn't just difficult, it was nearly impossible. The energy required, the precise calculations, the sheer audacity of it all seemed like a fever dream. But in the dark rooms of human command centers, the idea began to take shape. If they could pull this off, they could turn the tide of the war. They could send a message that humanity was not to be trifled with. There were heated debates among the human leaders. Some argued that it was too risky, that the plan could backfire and lead to even greater destruction. Others believed it was the only chance they had left. The alien coalition was too powerful, too confident. They needed to be shown that humanity was capable of unimaginable feats. In the end, the decision was made. Humanity would attempt the impossible. The plan was kept top secret, known only to a handful of people. A fleet of ships was dispatched to the rogue planet, carrying with them the equipment needed to alter its course. The scientists and engineers on board knew the risks, but they also knew what was at stake. They worked tirelessly, installing massive thrusters on the planet's surface and calculating the precise angles needed to change its trajectory. Meanwhile, the aliens continued their advance, oblivious to the threat that was quietly taking shape. They viewed humanity's resistance as futile, believing that their superior technology would soon bring the war to an end. They had no idea that humanity was about to attempt something that defied all logic and reason. As the rogue planet's course was altered, the tension among the human forces grew. This was more than just a military operation. It was a gamble with the future of their entire species. If the plan failed, Earth could be left defenseless. But if it succeeded, it could cripple the alien coalition and force them to reconsider their stance on humanity. The countdown began. The rogue planet, now under human control, started its new journey through the galaxy. It was a colossal weapon, moving silently and steadily toward the heart of the alien coalition. The humans knew that once the aliens realized what was happening, it would be too late for them to stop it. In those final moments, as the planet moved into position, there was a sense of quiet resolve among the human leaders. They had done the unthinkable, and soon, the galaxy would know just how dangerous it was to underestimate humanity. The rogue planet had begun its slow, deliberate course toward the alien coalition's stronghold, but the hardest part was still ahead. Redirecting a planet was no small feat, and every second counted. The human fleet, now stationed on the planet's surface, worked around the clock. They had installed massive thrusters, each one the size of a city, powered by nuclear reactors and other advanced technologies. These thrusters would push the planet onto a collision course with the alien forces. The crew was a mix of scientists, engineers, and soldiers, all hand-picked for this mission. They knew the risks, but also understood the potential reward. As they worked, they communicated in hushed tones, aware that even the smallest mistake could spell disaster. The atmosphere was tense, but there was also a quiet determination. They were doing something no one had ever attempted before, and they were doing it for the survival of their species. On Earth, the human leadership monitored every detail from their command centers. The plan was a closely guarded secret, with only the highest-ranking officials in the know. Even among them, there were doubts. What if the planet didn't reach its target? What if the aliens discovered the plan too early and countered it? These were questions that kept the leaders awake at night. But there was no turning back now. They had committed to this course, and all they could do was hope that their gamble would pay off. Meanwhile, the alien coalition was starting to notice unusual activity. Their long-range sensors picked up the fleet's presence on the rogue planet, but the data was confusing. They couldn't figure out why humans would be interested in a dead, drifting world. Some of the alien commanders dismissed it as a desperate human attempt to distract them. Others, however, began to sense that something more significant was happening. The alien leaders argued among themselves, debating whether to investigate further or continue their assault on human territories. Their overconfidence worked to humanity's advantage. They couldn't imagine that the humans would be capable of using a planet as a weapon. After all, such a plan defied logic, and the aliens prided themselves on their logical approach to warfare. Back on the rogue planet, the human crew faced challenges of their own. The planet was unpredictable, with shifting gravity fields and unstable tectonics. There were times when it seemed like the entire mission would be lost to natural forces beyond their control. But each time a problem arose, the crew adapted, using their ingenuity to find solutions. They had come too far to fail now. As the days passed, the planet's new trajectory became clear. It was on a direct path to the heart of the alien coalition's territory. The human leadership watched with bated breath, knowing that once the planet entered the alien star system, there would be no stopping it. The alien coalition, still unaware of the full scope of the human plan, began to focus more on the rogue planet. Their sensors detected the thrusters, and suddenly it all started to make sense. Panic began to spread among the alien commanders. They realized, too late, that the humans had turned the planet into a colossal missile aimed directly at their most critical stronghold. In a desperate attempt to stop the planet, the aliens launched their most powerful weapons. They sent fleets of ships to intercept it, trying to destroy the thrusters or at least alter its course. But the humans had anticipated this. They had built the thrusters with layers of defense, including shields and decoy systems. The alien attacks did little more than scratch the planet's surface. As the rogue planet moved closer to its target, the alien coalition found itself in a race against time. Their once confident and organized forces began to unravel, driven by the fear of what was to come. The humans had managed to turn the tide of the war, not through superior firepower or advanced technology, but through sheer audacity and determination. In the final hours before impact, the rogue planet became a symbol of human resolve. The galaxy watched in stunned silence as humanity did the unthinkable. The plan had taken shape, and soon the aliens would face the full force of a weapon unlike anything they had ever encountered. The rogue planet, now fully under human control, began its relentless journey through space. It was a sight both terrifying and awe-inspiring. A planet, a massive world in itself, hurtling through the cosmos with the singular purpose of destruction. The thrusters installed by the human fleet burned brightly, pushing the planet faster and faster toward its target. The plan was no longer just a theory, it was becoming a reality. As the planet moved, the human crew on its surface continued their work, ensuring everything stayed on course. They had overcome countless challenges to get this far, but they knew the mission was far from over. The planet's journey would take days, perhaps even weeks, depending on the obstacles it might encounter in the vastness of space. Every day they made small adjustments to the thrusters, correcting the course, maintaining the speed, and ensuring nothing went wrong. Back on Earth, the human leadership monitored the progress with a mix of anxiety and anticipation. They had committed everything to this plan, and the fate of humanity now rested on the success of this one bold move. The rogue planet had become a symbol of hope, a beacon of human resilience. The leaders knew that if the planet reached its destination, it would change the course of the war forever. Meanwhile, the alien coalition was scrambling. The once confident alien leaders were now in a state of panic. The realization that humans had redirected a planet and aimed it directly at their stronghold was a shock that reverberated through their ranks. The alien commanders issued frantic orders, deploying fleets and weapons in a desperate attempt to stop the planet's advance. The alien ships raced toward the rogue planet, their weapons blazing. Missiles, lasers, and energy beams struck the planet's surface, but it was like trying to stop a hurricane with a handful of pebbles. The planet was too massive, too well protected. The human engineers had fortified the thrusters, anticipating these very attacks. The alien forces could only watch in horror as their efforts seemed futile. As the rogue planet moved deeper into alien-controlled space, the panic spread. Civilizations that had once mocked humanity now trembled at the thought of what was coming. The alien coalition, which had always seen itself as invincible, was now facing a threat they had never imagined. For the first time, they understood what it meant to be truly vulnerable. On the planet's surface, the human crew remained focused. They knew that every alien attack that didn't work only increased their chances of success. The planet's course was steady, the thrusters still functioning perfectly. The crew could feel the tension building, knowing that soon they would reach the point of no return, the moment when the planet would be too close to stop, no matter what the aliens did. In the alien stronghold, fear was palpable. The leaders of the coalition were no longer discussing strategies to defeat humanity. They were debating how to survive the coming catastrophe. Some suggested evacuating key planets, while others insisted on continuing the fight. But deep down, they all knew that their options were running out. As the rogue planet entered the alien star system, the scale of the threat became impossible to ignore. The planet was visible in the night skies of alien worlds, a bright, ominous object growing larger with each passing day. The inhabitants of these worlds looked up in terror, realizing that their once secure empire was about to be shattered. The alien coalition's final attempts to stop the planet were met with failure. Their most advanced weapons, their most powerful ships, could do nothing to slow its approach. The planet moved with an unstoppable force, a grim reminder of humanity's ingenuity and resolve. In the final hours, as the planet neared its target, the galaxy held its breath. The rogue planet, a weapon of unimaginable power, was about to collide with the alien stronghold. The human leaders knew that this was the moment they had been waiting for. Everything they had worked for, everything they had sacrificed, was leading to this. The planet's impact would be devastating, but it would also be a message. Humanity was not weak, not a species to be easily defeated. They had taken a gamble, and now, as the planet moved ever closer to its target, it was clear that the gamble had paid off. The alien coalition, once so certain of their superiority, was about to face the full force of human determination. The planet was moving, and nothing could stop it now. The rogue planet, now a looming force of destruction, entered the alien star system with terrifying speed. Its trajectory was flawless, aimed directly at the heart of the alien coalition's most fortified stronghold. The skies of the alien worlds were filled with the ominous sight of the approaching planet, and a sense of impending doom gripped the entire system. The alien coalition, once so confident in their superiority, was now in complete disarray. Their leaders, who had always viewed humans as an insignificant threat, were now faced with the terrifying reality of their misjudgment. The rogue planet had become a symbol of their failure to understand the true potential of humanity. Panic spread through the ranks as the final hours before impact ticked away. Desperate to stop the planet, the aliens deployed every weapon they had. Massive warships, armed with the most advanced technology in the galaxy, unleashed their firepower on the rogue planet. Missiles and energy beams struck its surface in a relentless barrage, but the planet continued its unstoppable course. The human-built thrusters and shields absorbed the attacks, their designs perfect for this very moment. The aliens watched in horror as their efforts proved futile. The human crew on the planet's surface felt the impacts of the alien weapons, but they remained resolute. They had come too far to fail now. Every shake and tremor was a reminder of what was at stake, but they knew the planet was still on course. The thrusters roared, pushing the planet closer and closer to its target. They were minutes away from making history. On Earth, the human leadership watched the final moments unfold with a mix of anxiety and grim satisfaction. The gamble they had taken, the risks they had endured, were about to pay off. The rogue planet, once a drifting piece of rock in the void, had been transformed into the most powerful weapon the galaxy had ever seen. And now it was moments away from delivering its devastating blow. In the alien stronghold, the atmosphere was one of sheer terror. The planet was now visible in the skies, a massive object growing larger by the second. Evacuation efforts had begun, but it was too late for most. The planet's impact zone was calculated to cover a vast area, and there was no escape for those in its path. The alien leaders, who had once plotted the destruction of Earth, were now facing the same fate they had intended for humanity. The moment of impact came with a force that defied imagination. The rogue planet collided with the alien stronghold, releasing an explosion of energy that lit up the galaxy. The shockwave rippled through space, destroying everything in its path. The stronghold, once the pride of the alien coalition, was obliterated in an instant. The power of the impact shattered planets, vaporized ships, and left nothing but debris in its wake. For those watching from afar, it was a sight they would never forget. The rogue planet, a weapon of human creation, had done the impossible. The destruction was total, and the alien coalition was crippled beyond repair. The once mighty empire, which had spanned countless star systems, was now a shadow of its former self. The human crew, having completed their mission, prepared for their final task. They activated the last of the thrusters, setting the planet on a course out of the system. Their job was done, and now it was time to leave. They boarded their ships and departed, leaving behind the remains of the planet that had brought an end to the war. On Earth, the news of the impact spread quickly. Celebrations erupted across the planet as humanity realized the war was effectively over. The alien coalition, once their greatest threat, was no more. The rogue planet had not only delivered a crushing blow, but had also sent a message to the entire galaxy. Humanity was not to be underestimated. In the aftermath, the galaxy was left to grapple with the consequences. The alien coalition was in ruins, their leaders either dead or in hiding. The power vacuum left by their destruction would change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. And at the center of it all was humanity, a species that had proven its resilience, creativity, and sheer determination in the face of overwhelming odds. As the dust settled, the rogue planet continued its journey through space, a silent reminder of the day humanity changed the galaxy forever. The final impact had not only ended a war, but had also redefined what it meant to be powerful in the universe. The galaxy was still reeling from the devastation caused by the rogue planet's impact. The once mighty alien coalition was shattered, their stronghold reduced to rubble. Across the galaxy, news of the destruction spread like wildfire. The coalition's leaders, who had once dominated entire star systems with an iron grip, were now scattered and broken, their empire in ruins. In the aftermath of the impact, the surviving alien leaders knew there was only one option left: surrender. The rogue planet had not just destroyed their strongest defenses, it had crushed their will to fight. They had underestimated humanity, and now they faced the consequences of that mistake. On Earth, the mood was one of cautious celebration. The human leadership knew that the war was effectively over, but they also understood the importance of handling the surrender carefully. This was their chance to secure a lasting peace and ensure that humanity would never again be seen as a weak or insignificant species. The alien leaders, now desperate and humiliated, sent a delegation to Earth. Their journey was one of shame and fear. They had once considered humanity inferior, unworthy of their attention, but now they approached Earth with humility, knowing they had no other choice. The surrender was to be conducted in a formal ceremony, one that would be broadcast across the galaxy, a clear message to all who watched. As the alien delegation arrived on Earth, they were met with the full force of humanity's presence. The ceremony was held in a grand hall, surrounded by the leaders of Earth's nations and the commanders who had orchestrated the rogue planet's attack. The atmosphere was tense but respectful, a recognition of the significance of the moment. The alien delegation, led by a once proud commander, now stood before the human leaders. Their appearance was a stark contrast to the confident and arrogant beings they had once been. Now they were humbled, their heads bowed, their movements slow and deliberate. They knew that their fate rested in the hands of the very species they had sought to destroy. The human leader, a figure who had guided humanity through its darkest hours, stepped forward to accept the surrender. There was no gloating, no triumph in his voice, just a firm, resolute tone that conveyed both strength and the weight of the moment. He spoke of the sacrifices humanity had made, the lives lost, and the determination that had brought them to this point. The alien commander, trembling with shame, offered the formal surrender. It was a simple gesture, a symbol of their complete and unconditional capitulation. The commander's voice was shaky, barely above a whisper as he acknowledged humanity's victory and expressed a hope for peace. The words hung in the air, a stark contrast to the threats and boasts that had once come from the alien leaders. With the surrender accepted, the galaxy watched in stunned silence. The once unthinkable had happened. The most powerful coalition in the galaxy had been brought to its knees by humanity, a species that had been dismissed as weak and insignificant. The ceremony ended, but its impact would be felt for generations to come. In the days that followed, the remnants of the alien coalition began to disband. Their territories were left in disarray, with some seeking to join humanity in rebuilding, while others fled to distant corners of the galaxy, unwilling to face the new reality. The power structure of the galaxy had been forever changed, and humanity now stood as a force to be reckoned with. On Earth, the victory was bittersweet. The war had been won, but at a great cost. The human leaders knew that their actions had sent a powerful message to the galaxy, but they also understood that with great power came great responsibility. The destruction caused by the rogue planet was a reminder of the lengths they had gone to for survival and the price that had been paid. As peace slowly settled over the galaxy, humanity took on a new role. They became the guardians of balance, ensuring that no species would ever again rise to threaten the peace of the galaxy. The rogue planet, now a drifting memory in the vastness of space, remained a symbol of human determination and resilience. The surrender marked the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. Humanity had proven its strength, not just in battle, but in its ability to unite and overcome even the most daunting challenges. The galaxy would never forget the day the aliens surrendered, and humanity emerged as a true power in the universe.